Anderson Rifles presents.
Hey y'all, welcome to Just Killing Time TV.
Bro, that's a nice deer right there. That's a Deer Haven buck, isn't it?
That's from Deer Haven last year.
Yep.
Folks, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If y'all saw last week, we were in Western Kentucky with Deer Haven out in Ballard County, and we're going right back into the action this week.
That's right. Where we left off last week is Buck was getting ready to drop the hammer on a stud of a whitetail. Let's get right into the action, folks, and see what happens.
That's right, well, man, yeah, that ain't a bad deer. That ain't a bad deer. That's not a shooter, but that's a good deer. Call it that. Call it deer. Oh, that's pretty. Got no woods on me. Yeah, I can see that. Yep, he's done. He's gone. This morning, before daylight, or well, before camera light, we had a deer across this point out here from us a while ago. Jerry, I didn't get a good look at it, but Jerry got a decent buck on film on the same trail, real chocolate orange buck. He said it probably nicer than I thought. I just didn't get a good look at it. I ain't seen he was a shooter, but I tell you what, it's a pile of bucks running around out here. We'll go set this stand this morning, about half a day, and then we're going to go hang a couple millenniums. And man, Jerry's like me, we can't wait to get in this draw we found yesterday. Man, it looks prime.
After the early morning encounter with the buck, the boys sit back and relax, and they get treated to a full morning of deer activity. Brett and Sharon Wilson have spent years managing Deer Haven to maintain and develop a quality whitetail herd. Every time we go down there, we're not disappointed. You always see deer.
Probably 40 yards from us. Still coming. Tell you what, Brett and Sharon out here at Deer Haven. Jerry's a believer now. I told him last year what we saw, and he said they got it going on, man. We've set two mornings and probably seen 6 bucks already in 2 sets. And I think his rut is just getting ready to kick in. We're getting ready to go in and hang a couple millennium stands. We found a real great draw here with about 3 fingers coming together. It looks prime. Me and Jerry saw it yesterday. Go in here and pick a tree, hang a set, and we're not going to hunt it till first thing tomorrow morning. So, y'all tag along with us while we hang these tree stands, these millenniums. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
A lot of people ask us, are those millenniums really that comfortable to use and simple to hang? The only statement I can make to answer that question is a simple and resounding yes.
What are you laughing at, Max?
We was watching that footage, folks. This deer whispered in my ear, said, I could tell that buck was a shooter, and I'm dead.
Hey, I didn't get as good a look. I didn't even pick my gun up. It was that early, and I'm still kicking myself in the butt. It's mine. I'm still kicking myself in the butt. Hey,
it's not a shooter.
It's first morning, man. I didn't expect that, and it just caught me off guard, and I didn't get my gun up in the blind.
Folks, we're taking resumes for new camera crews and new gunmen. Just send them to the Just Killing Time, P.O. Box 41, Middlebrook, Virginia.
And look what you got to deal with.
Folks, stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Our Anderson No Lube AR-15 is built with pride in the USA, right here in Hebron, Kentucky. Our 30,000 square foot facility has the latest in computerized manufacturing. Only Anderson rifles have RF85 that reduces friction 85%, never needs oiling, and cleans up with soap and water. Anderson quality control is second to none. The Anderson AR-15, the world's only no lube rifle.
What are you doing, man? Trying to hold my hand?
No, brother. You know I love you, but not in that kind of way. I'm just making sure that the finger ain't broke, because you sure don't seem to want to use it in
Ain't nothing wrong with
Kentucky.
that trigger finger. It just wasn't fast enough on the draw that first morning.
So-
I wasn't ready. Caught me off guard.
Hey, let me ask you this, and the folks at home, I'm sure they want to know too. After a buck of that caliber getting a drop on you and getting by you, what do you
Well,
do for an
let
encore?
me say something first. I didn't get that good a look at the buck, but when I looked at the footage later that morning in the camera, I thought, man, Jerry, that's a nicer buck than what we thought. So I knew we let a good one get away. So just so everybody knows at home.
Well,
So, hey, we're still hunting. We'll see what happens. Hey,
well, let's get right into the footage. Maybe old Buck and Jerry can redeem themselves.
We just climbed back in the plan this evening. We wasn't going to sit here this evening. We already went and hung a set of millenniums, and we're going to sit over here today. We had our mind made up. But as you saw, we had that buck cross in front of us this morning, and it was early. I'm talking 6:30 or so. It was early, and I didn't even put my gun up. That's how early it was, and I couldn't really tell through my binoculars how good a buck it was. We didn't think it was that good a buck, but the camera, as you can see, collects a lot more light than what evidently my binoculars can. And we didn't know it was that good a buck. And when he stopped, I was trying to get my grunt call out, raised his head, and Jerry said he's a better buck than we thought. But we got back and reviewed the footage and seen how nice he was. He had split G2s and a little drop, I don't know, 3 inches or so on his left main beam. I tell you, he's probably pushing 150 inches. Probably, that's only the second drop down I've seen in my life, alive. Man, so we came back to this set this evening.
After the gobblers came through, it looked like somebody opened up the gates.
Yeah, that's that buck. I bet you it just went in the other end over there. Working straight. I can't do it.
As day one came to a close, Buck and Jerry both were haunted with the thoughts of the big boy that they let slip by them that morning. Now let's join Buck and Jerry on day two of their adventure. Now folks, there ain't many things that are more fun in this world than using a rattle bag to rattle up deer in a well-managed deer herd. When the buck to doe ratio is right, and you hit that magical week that we call the pre-rut, anything can show up. Looks like the decision to try to do some rattling was the right one, cause the deer just keep getting bigger.
Well, we had another nice buck come through this morning. We had that one that we rattled in. Couldn't get on camera. He was a shooter, no doubt. We had a little, about a 6-pointer come up the draw. A little later we had I think it's a 10-pointer come down the draw, probably 120-inch buck. Still not what we're looking for. But the first one yesterday morning and the first one we saw this morning, definite shooters. We'll go hang in here a few more hours. And we may go hit this back field where Brett's wife saw 2 good bucks last night, so, and where we saw that buck this morning.
Brother, that second buck that come by y'all while y'all was sitting in the Millenniums that broke off G3, now that's getting close to what I consider shooting, except y'all told me y'all seen some other deer down there you didn't even get on camera.
Oh yeah, he wasn't even in the ballpark of what we saw the first morning, and we had another stud that morning that we couldn't even get on camera. I rattled, he was following a doe across what they call Sharon's field, and he come running in and got behind the only tree on the ridge that had leaves on it. I mean, believe that.
That happens,
and then
brother.
he didn't see anything he wanted, so he went on back after the doe. So
Looks like y'all definitely in the deer down Deer Haven. Folks, stick around, we'll be back in just a moment.
You got to be asking yourself, what am I looking at? What is this mess? One of the largest rifle distributors in the country pitted the Anderson rifle against one of the top leading brands in a shootout. The leading gun was prepped thoroughly, cleaned and lubricated to perfection. The Anderson rifle was cleaned, but stripped of all lubrication. It was fired completely dry. This is only possible because the Anderson was treated with RF85, the permanent treatment that reduces friction 85%. The rifles were fired as fast as humanly possible. In less than an hour, the leading brand rifle failed at 900 rounds. An hour went by. Then 2. Then 3. The Anderson kept firing. After 4 hours, the red-hot gun cooked rounds off. No trigger was needed. Finally, the grip caught on fire. After 4,238 rounds and still firing, with the gun on fire, they called it quits. They couldn't get the Anderson to fail. This is that rifle. Look at these close-ups. This Anderson rifle shows absolutely no wear. Can your rifle do this? It can if it's an Anderson. RF85 makes it run with 85% less friction, 23% faster action, never needs oiling, and cleans up with soap and water. The Anderson rifle, the world's only no-lube rifle.
Folks, welcome back to the show. We're down in Barlow, Kentucky with Deer Haven trophy bucks. And folks, you talking about trophy bucks, we got a lot of them on this show. Are you and Jerry going to get back in those Millennium, see if you can put the drop on one of them big boys?
well, as much as I like that set, Max, with seeing those deer run that tree line, just out of range, too thick.
Couldn't stand it,
Couldn't
could you?
stand it. We went over and brushed in our ground blind, and that's where we're going to set next, man. Hopefully, see what happens comes by Sharon's field.
I hope it pans out. Folks, let's roll the footage.
Well, here we are, third morning in Kentucky. We're sitting in the same blind we brushed in yesterday. We got a perfect wind. As you can see, our breath, it's cold morning. It's like 27 degrees. This is the field we saw that big boy yesterday, cruising the edge. The boy was really following the doe. The same field I shot that big 8 in last year.
Like it happens so often at Deer Haven, Buck and Jerry look up and guess what they see.
He's all broke. He's all messed up. Look at that thing. What do you think? Oh, good enough. That's a neat buck. Don't kill him. I have to keep letting him keep coming. He's a
Now, I ain't for sure, but I think the boys get a little confused about whether they go shoot this deer or not.
You think I'll kill him? He's screwed up. Let him go, let him go, let him go. Let him go. Nice. Look at him, he's right there. Where? He was dead stopped right there. Are you on him? Yeah. I can't. No, let him go. Let me grab, see if he'll come back. No, that buck there, he was pretty dead. He's kind of messed up on the left side. I think he's only a 7-pointer. Pretty buck. I was tempted, but he ain't really what we're after. Then we got a flock of turkeys following him out in the field.
Now, folks, what you're fixing to see is what I call a turkey hoedown.
All right, brother, what I'm not sure of from watching the footage and listening to the audio is, did you want to shoot that deer, or did Jerry want you to shoot that deer? Because from where I was sitting, it sounded like a Chinese fire drill inside that blind.
No, after seeing what we saw out there the first 2 days, that's not the deer I was looking for. I think he's messed up from messing up in velvet or something, getting injury or something, so I decided to let that buck go.
All I heard is, and
that's Jerry trying to stop him. If I wanted to shoot that deer, I could have shot the deer. And
it was still funny because he go, and you go, let him go, let him go, let him go.
Yeah.
Folks, stick around because we'll be right back in a minute. We're not going to let you go.
Our Anderson No Lube AR-15 is built with pride in the USA, right here in Hebron, Kentucky. Our 30,000 square foot facility has the latest in computerized manufacturing. Only Anderson rifles have RF85 that reduces friction 85%, never needs oiling, and cleans up with soap and water. Anderson quality control is second to none. The Anderson AR-15, the world's only no lube rifle.
folks, welcome back to the show. Right now, me and Jerry's gonna switch spots. I had my chance out with Deer Haven. So Jerry's supposed to be in Illinois on a 3-day hunt with me running the camera. So since his gun wouldn't shoot, I guess he didn't use the cleanse all last time. We're switching spots. I'm gonna let Jerry hunt these last couple days.
This is what you told me about. Folks, Jerry tries to sight in his muzzleloader to check it before leaving for Illinois and can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Maybe he didn't use that. What'd he do with that bottle you reckon we sent him?
Knowing Jerry, he probably ran over with the truck like he did that camera the other week.
Folks, let's get right into action, see if Jerry can score out there for Deer Haven.
At Deer Haven, they worked it out so I could get a license at the last minute. So now tonight's the first night of my hunt. We got buck behind the camera. We seen shooters galore. We just have not been able to close the deal.
With all these deer in the field, you can't help but think it's just a matter of time before big boys will show up. Even with all those deer in the field, a mature buck never showed. So let's join Jerry and Buck now on day 7 of their Deer Haven adventure. God bless them, folks. Listen close to this fiasco.
No, I'm on him. Wait a minute. We deer the buck. Right in the middle, right here. Okay, well, I didn't see nothing on him. You should. Hey, wait a minute. Let me look. All right. Don't you? I can't see him. Look in the viewfinder. Look in the viewfinder. I'm on him. if you can shoot him, you want to try to turn him?
Gonna have to.
Meh. Meh. You get gun on him. Meh. I was on the wrong deer. Meh. If he turns broadside, shoot him. I'm on. If he goes to her way low. Where's that brown bag?
I can't get to it.
He's gonna turn and go in the woods, shoot him there. Okay, stop it. Meh. He stopped, but I don't know if you got a shot.
I don't have
There,
it.
he's turning broadside.
I don't see him.
He's going to the right.
Okay.
On the right. Meh. I'm on him.
Yes, folks, unfortunately, that was a miss.
Oh, I think, did we let another one go? Tell me we did not just let another deer go.
What are you doing, man? Is he talking to you again?
Yeah, man. Hey, folks, we was watching that footage, and this deer whispers in my ear, says, "You keep sending them boys out there all the time, and my relatives out there will all live to be a ripe old age."
Listen, we spent 4 or 5 days with Brett, and we didn't close the deal, and we had our chance. I had my chance anyway. Jerry had his there at the
3,
end.
4, 5.
Hey, Brett, you did your job, buddy. You got the deer, and you put us on the deer. We just didn't close the deal, but I'm hoping I get back out there this fall and bring my wife, Pam, and hopefully we can get the job done.
Brett, all I can say is if you want another crew, a more competent crew,
Oh,
give me a
enough
call.
of that.
I'll arrange for somebody
Yeah.
else to come out.
We'll be out, Brett. Unfortunately, Max, we're out of time for this week. I just don't know where that 30 minutes goes, man. But folks, before we leave and before Max butts in here, I just want to thank the good Lord for letting me have the opportunity to get out and do this, and I just hope I can keep doing it for a long time to come.
Absolutely, brother. Folks, we have a lot of fun, but our Lord and Savior gives us the ability and the skills to do everything we do. We're just grateful to be able to do it. Thank y'all for watching the show. I want to thank our sponsors for their support. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. Please go to our website, check them out, visit them, say, hey, we like what those guys are doing. Until next week, folks,
We'll see you on the mountain.